Alright, so here's a quick little project, and I modified this. I saw Dale Dairy with metal tricks and tips. So this is an oil can. Use a brush. It's a project that I'm going to make an oil can out of this Bud Light container. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from here down here about 4 3/8 of an inch and cut it on the bandsaw. Alright, so I forgot to mention, in case you didn't catch it, it's a Bud Light bottle, the new aluminum style bottles. So about 4 3/8 of an inch. Now, here's the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to take a file and clean up this edge here. Alright, so when you're doing the outside, just use your thumb so you don't end up scratching the whole surface, and kind of as a guide, you're going to go around like that. You're going to use a fine-toothed file, and you're just taking the burrs off. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to use a fine-tooth rat tail and just kind of take the burrs off like that. Now, the difference between this project and Dale Dairy's, and I think that's the joy of the internet, YouTube, is that everybody just kind of continues to improve on an idea. So I'm going to show you my improvement. Alright, so the idea behind this project is that you end up with an oil can that doesn't tip over very easily, and when it does, nothing spills out, or very little, because you're going to put this into here, press it in, and you're going to leave a little space on the bottom for the oil to actually go into it, and then it kind of holds itself up there, and it doesn't when it spills, this inner funnel prevents all the oil and fluid from coming out. Now, this isn't by itself very stable. So here's my improvement on this whole deal, is you get some flat washers and a magnet. So we drop the magnet in and the flat washers, and the magnet should go down. So that's what we're going to do. We'll drop this in, and there we go, there at the bottom. And then we're just going to push this in, and then we're going to maybe fold over the edge there, just so that it doesn't have that sharp corner. But here what you can see is with the washers, it's kind of stabilized. Now when this is on a metal surface, the magnet then comes into play. This is stainless, so the magnet's really not doing anything, but I'll show you over here. Alright, so here we have it on a metal surface. Now you can really see the magnet doing its job. So since we haven't pressed that in, you can actually see that it's got, and it's not a super powerful magnet. If you had a more powerful magnet, it'd probably be even more stable, and you may not even need those washers. But this is what we're going to do, and the idea here is to stabilize it. And look at that, you can even go halfway off. So the liquid in there helps, but all the weight that you can put on the bottom is really going to make a difference. And when you look inside, you can see those washers. And the key is, when this goes down, it does not touch the washers completely, because if it does, you're not going to be able to get any fluid out of here. You want the fluid to flow in above the washers. So there's my improvement to Dale Dairy's oil can idea. Now I know many of you are probably not going to have a 20-ton shop press, but this is a Harbor Freight deal, and I'm just going to put a piece of masonite in there. I do something thicker, but I don't want to have to adjust this up and down. It's really quite a pain to do that. So I'm just going to start cranking and hopefully press those two together like that. So let's see, and it looks like it's working. So you can only press so far before the masonite, or the little particle board there, starts to bend. So now we're going to go and with a thicker piece of wood and finish the job. Now if you look here, I made this 4 3/8. Looks like we can go even shorter than that. Maybe just make it 4 inches. But right now, the washers are in there, the magnet is in there, and because the washer's off center, liquid will flow in there, but you can see that there's very little play. So I wouldn't recommend making the cut on the top any longer than, say, 4 1/8. Okay, so some notes at the end. Well, you can use your paintbrush in there. You might want to use only one washer because that increases the amount of fluid you can put in there. And the bottom line is you only want to use enough fluid in there so that when you tip it, it doesn't come running out. And you can see that nothing is running out. But the drawback is if you don't use a lot of fluid, you're going to have to fill it up constantly. So by decreasing the washer to one washer, you can increase the amount of fluid you can put in there. And also you can change the depth of the neck. If you don't insert it in there as much, then you'll end up where you could put more fluid in. And so it's kind of a balance between adding the fluid, the neck, and so you just have to play with it. And since these are pretty cheap and fun to come by, you'll have plenty to practice with. So that's the project for today. And thanks to Dale Dairy at Metal Tricks and Tips.